Well, good morning. So I had people asking for a more detailed build setup, and I've made a few changes. I've got new setup for how to get rid of these nice and quickly. My wife found a new trial chambers with 21 spawners that I've set up, so maybe I'll show that at the end. But thought I'd give a little bit of info on how I set these up. So you can see there's three spawners in here. Two are baby zombies. One is a breeze. And this is the way I was doing it before. I have dispensers with lava buckets up on the roof. Hit the button. They come down, cover the whole thing in lava, and everything dies. But you do have to get kind of close for them to be able to see that you're there. So you got to come in, get a few angles, and while you're doing it, the breeze are shooting you, and when they shoot through lava, it lights it on fire, and you take damage. So I've made a few changes. I'm not really going to be using this area anymore because I have the new one with way more spawners, but I figured I would show how I set them up so that you have a better idea, all right? So the first thing we need to do, obviously, get rid of this lava. So we're just going to hit the button. Eventually it'll drain down and go away. You can see basic redstone, super easy just to get all of the dispensers to trigger. Got a redstone block coming up on a piston. Nothing fancy, nothing groundbreaking. So what I want to do is set this up so it's easier for them to see you so that they can spawn a little bit easier. Now, if you encase the place in glass, you're pretty much covered. You can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, right? You only need the 3. You don't need the entire 4 because your fourth one is this wall right here, right? Um, the fourth is nice to have the space, but you don't actually have to. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to tear out these walls and I'm going to replace them with a glass wall with a platform down here that runs all the way around so that the spawners can see you no matter where you go. So I'm going to work on that and I will be right back. As far as item collection goes, all you need to do is run a hopper line. As you can see, I've got it fully encased in glass. Everything is tight to the radius of where everything's going to spawn. And if you look underneath, each spawner has a simple hopper underneath it. You don't need to put hopper minecarts. The item spawns inside the spawner and then works its way up top. But as soon as it materializes, the hopper will suck it in. So you don't have to worry about minecarts underneath. You can have lava directly on top of these, and the hopper will pick it up and feed it into the hopper line that goes into your chest, right? All the items are getting automatically collected, and you don't have to worry about any of it. So all we're going to do once we've got our hopper line in place, we're just going to cover it up. We're going to block it off so the lava isn't going to go in there, and then we don't have to worry about anything at all. We can put our lava down and we're good to go, right? So in order to get this place all lavaed, I've got an emergency fire res potion in my hotbar just in case. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to start dropping down some lava buckets. So we'll get a couple of them in here. We'll see if we can get everything into the corners. And yeah, looks like that one's good. We'll do another one over here, getting into that corner. It's like painting a floor. We're just going to slowly work our way out, making sure we've got everything covered. Now, as far as the spawners go, if you put lava directly on top, the items will get sucked into the hopper before they have a chance to touch the lava, which is super nice. So we can just cover these directly And any mobs that spawn on top will spawn and die, no problem. I seem to have backed myself into a corner. So we might just make this easy and we'll do a fire res potion and we can just walk our way through. So we'll just do that. We'll drop one right here to get that covered. We'll drop one in this corner to get that covered. And we'll drop one, let's go with right there to get that covered. And we'll back out through the door. So if we go up top and have a look, you can see that everywhere the mobs are going to spawn is entirely encased in lava. As soon as they spawn, they are going to die. You will not have to worry about any of the mobs in there. They'll spawn, they'll die, and you'll collect your loot down at the bottom. So now that we have this fully encased and we've got our collection set up, let's just run a test. So I'm just going to suck back an ominous bottle. And you can see all of the spawners immediately got their little particles and guys start spawning. They got nowhere to go. They got nowhere safe. They're just going to stand in the lava and they're going to die. And as soon as they die, more are going to spawn. And as you can see, we are done. It's finished. That's all we need to do. And down in the bottom, we have one item for each spawner. And we even managed to get ourselves an ominous key. If you're doing it in lava, this is all you need to do. Now, there are other methods. My other favorite is filling it with water and putting magma blocks at the bottom and have the mobs get sucked down and die on the magma blocks. It's not as quick, but it looks cool. I'll show you that method as well, and you can take whatever you want. Do you want speed and efficiency, or do you want something cool and fun? You can take your pick. We'll do both here. I'll use this exact same area for setting it up in the other method, and then you can choose from there. Okay, so as you can see, we got the lava all cleaned up. The only thing we're going to change is we're going to convert the floor into magma blocks, and we're going to flood this whole area, okay? I just did the ominous. I've got 25 minutes to be able to do this before they spawn again, and ideally I want to get this done before they spawn. So all I'm going to do is fill everything with water. I need water source blocks. This does not work with flowing water. In order for it to suck mobs down with the magma blocks, it needs to be source blocks. You can do this however you want. You can bucket your way through like I'm doing right now. Or you can just put water up at the top and then kelp it, or you could use ice. You can, whatever method you want to use to flood the whole thing. By all means, all of them are going to work. You just need to make sure everything is water sources, right? In order to get in, I had to break that. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to flood all of this, keeping in mind that as you go around the spawners, it's going to create some weirdness. So you're going to have to make sure you've got everything all filled in, and that should cut it. Okay, so layer one is done, off to layer two. I highly recommend having a conduit in here for while you're doing it. I don't think I have one set up over here right now. But I highly recommend, or some water breathing potions or whatever you want to do, right? So I'm gonna finish this up. I got 20 minutes left, and then these mobs are gonna spawn. So I will be right back. Oh, turns out I do have a conduit in here. Beautiful. I don't even have to worry about it. I can just do this and stay underwater as long as I want. I love it. That's awesome. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're coming to the end here. Another couple of buckets, and that's going to finish off our water all the way along. Everything in here is source blocks all the way through. So the only thing left to do is to replace our floor with these magma blocks. So I'm just going to break out the floor that's currently in here, leaving my hoppers and everything else. You can see I've got the moss underneath. These spawners follow the same spawning rules as regular mob spawners. So they will spawn a couple of blocks above the spawner, and they'll spawn a couple blocks below the spawner. What that means is if you have a large empty space underneath your spawn platform, mobs will actually spawn underneath and won't get caught up in your trap. And then you got to deal with them live underneath and figure out a way to kill them. So you got two methods. You can either have your trap set so that it's below where the mobs are going to spawn and drop the floor down. All you need to do is drop it down a couple blocks. It doesn't have to be anything significant. Couple blocks below, couple blocks above, right? Or you can put solid blocks that the mobs can't spawn on underneath. In this case, there's a whole bunch of moss blocks because they're nice and easy to put in, nice and easy to break out, and they're super cheap. So all I'm going to do now that I've got that done is I'm going to put in my magma blocks. Now, as soon as the magma blocks go in, you can see the bubbles. You can see that they're sucking everything down. So you're going to end up with mobs, if they spawn, getting caught up and sucked down to the bottom and attached to the magma blocks, right? And then all you have to do is let them die. There's nothing to it. There's nothing fancy. It does take a little while, but in my opinion, it looks awesome. I love when you trigger the spawn and a whole bunch of mobs just all of a sudden get sucked into these magma blocks and you can hear them dying. It's a wonderful thing. It's just fun. There's no purpose to it. There's no point. You don't need to, but it works. It's great. So all I'm going to do is fill this whole space with magma blocks, get it all filled in, and we'll see what happens when the mobs spawn. I've been doing it pretty quick, so I've still got 16 minutes left before I'm going to have any spawns. So I will finish this up, and then when we're ready to spawn, I will come back and show you guys how this works. Okay, so we've got everything pretty much set up. I removed the door because Breeze can actually activate redstone, and that includes doors. So if you leave a door in there, they can actually open the door and let the little zombies out, which is not ideal. So the final thing that we need to do to have this finished is we need to cover up the spawners with magma blocks. So if any mobs spawn on top of the spawner, they're going to get sucked down and killed. If they spawn on top of the spawner without that, they're just going to stand there and nothing is ever going to happen to them. So now that we've got that blocked off, we can take an ominous potion and we can trigger this whole thing and you can see how it works. So we suck back the ominous, spawns start instantly, mobs just get sucked down onto the magma blocks and start taking damage. And as you can see, everything is going to die, no problem. So we've only got a few spawners in here. Breeze is starting to go down, more breeze spawn. Baby zombies are going down. We got some rotten flesh floating around in there. And it looks like they got hit with the silverfish potion. And every time they take damage, they're going to spawn silverfish. It gets so loud when that happens. It's brutal. So I guess if you've got one where that's one of the potions that drop, just turn your volume down because it's super annoying to listen to that. But it works. So what are you going to do, right? As you can see, there's actually some armor dropping. If these guys stay long enough that they turn into zombies before they die, they'll actually drop their armor, which is kind of cool. And there we go. Guys are going down. Well, two spawners left. Two spawners done. And I got a bunch of junk in here, but any loot that we get, like one key dropped while that was going on. So we get an extra key. But that is how this one works. It's not quite as quick as the lava, but I don't know about you, but I find it kind of enjoyable. So you do what you want, whatever works for you. And I'll exit this and I'll run over to my fully done up 21 spawner setup so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the new ominous key farm setup. So I'm going to fire this off and we'll see what happens. So as soon as I get close, they start spawning. This one's two spider and a breeze, and spiders get hung up clinging to the hoppers. So just putting some magma blocks up top takes care of that and brings them down. Over here, got single spawners, zombie, and breeze. So those ones will fire up and all the loot comes out in the chests. Oh, hello, breeze. So then this one over here, this is 5 spawners, all in a very contained area. You can see the ones down at the bottom, and then up top, there's a whole series up here as well. That'll fire off as you go. Then down at the bottom, a bunch more single spawners, zombie, 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 and breeze up above, dying in the lava. And this one's kind of nice because it has the potion effect where they drop cobwebs, and I've got a door here so you can go in and collect the cobwebs that they drop, which is kind of nice. So up at the midway point, we got another spider one here that'll trigger. And then at the very top, there's another single spawner for zombies, and then a zombie, a skeleton, and a breeze in the final one. So all of these, it's now been, what, a minute, minute and a half, and all of them are triggered maybe as much as 2 minutes by this point. Yeah, I checked my recording and just hit 2 minutes. So that's how long it takes to go through and get all of these up and running with Ominous. You're going to end up collecting keys, you're going to collect loot, you're going to collect gear, you're going to collect whatever, and all you got to do is run through and collect it all out of the chest. It's a lovely setup. I really like the way this turned out. The setup is pretty nice. Oh yeah, you can see some of the cobwebs in there, right? So they'll spawn cobwebs and you can just go in and shear them up and collect them. Loot goes down in the chest down at the bottom, and nothing but garbage so far. What we got in here? We got a key. In this one, got garbage, but that's the whole deal. Every once in a while, you can just pop out here, spend 3 minutes running through this thing, collect a bunch of keys, and be on your merry way. So that's basically the breakdown on how to build this setup. Hope everyone enjoyed, and have a good one.